Hey everyone, this video we're going to cover the topic of mass surveillance. Let's talk about the revelations that come to light from Snowden, Edward Snowden. Thank goodness for someone like that guy, right? I mean, I don't even give a shit about the accusation of him being a foreign spy of sorts or whatever. We all know that what the evidence that he presented. I mean, no one in the governments or the Five Eyes, like Canada, US, New Zealand, Australia, and UK, nobody's denying this. It's factually true, as we all know. So who gives a shit? Just, once again, same with the Clinton emails. Who gives a shit? I mean, you could get mad at the source for telling us the truth. You could get mad at Edward Snowden or whoever the source was for WikiLeaks about the revelations of the Clinton campaign and the massive amounts of corruption. I mean, but to me, it's the messenger means nothing. The message is what matters when you're talking about revelations such as this. Snowden was a contractor for the NSA that basically explained to us all and gave us this information that, I mean, historically, this is precedent setting. He basically told us that, yeah, all your worst fears and suspicions that you had regarding government and their many tentacles or branches of government, yeah, they use all the money, all the wealth that they plunder from the masses or future successive generations through bonds, right? They use a lot of that, a large percentage of that wealth to spy, to completely circumvent actual genuine freedoms and liberty. All the things that took, multiple centuries to build up over time. And I mean, it was always, a couple steps forward, one step back, couple steps forward, one step back, and countless millions of people. And I mean, when you say millions, yeah, it's millions doesn't say, but each one of those millions of people that died had real families and friends and neighbors and co-workers and people or significant others or children that loved them and cared for them. So each one of those stories matter to those people that had to suffer from whatever consequences or action that happened as a result of government intervention into their lives or the lives of others. And we're seeing now that government and corporations, Yahoo, right? Verizon. I mean, here in Canada, Rogers and our telecom companies that are given all of our information freely without asking your permission, even though you signed a contract with these companies. They're basically just selling you up the river to the government. And who's being held to account? Not a fucking soul. So what do they care? I mean, if you could be massively corrupt and have the ability to destroy actual genuine freedoms and liberty that took countless generations and millions of deaths to attain, and they're willing to throw it out that quickly for a buck or to cozy up to the government so they can lobby them later for some political or economic or business favor, right? I mean, how fucking disgusting is all this? That's the part that I always have to question, why do you fuckers want to fight back and forth, whether you're from the left, right, or anywhere in between in the political spectrum? Why do you always want to continue to fight with each other when any sensible or objective person would realize and recognize that it's all of the fuckers that want to control and dominate you? The people in politics, in the media, lawyers, judges. Those are the people that have created the situation that we find ourselves in today, where the government has complete and unfettered access and control over your life, whether you like it or not. And just because you might recognize that, hey, I still got a little bit of freedom left in me, so they're not full-on totalitarians, right? But that's only because if you have any freedoms, it's because you're not rocking the boat. You're not questioning them. You're not challenging their authority. Ask people that actually do. Ask people like myself that aren't good little slaves or serfs to the ruling class. We will tell you, and you see it. People like us, we're talking, we're writing articles, books, creating videos, content all over the place trying to explain to you people that, yeah, if you're not good little slaves, it's very dangerous and your life can be massively obstructed, hindered, and ultimately destroyed with just a very small amount of people at the helm of power that chooses, hey, I don't like what you got to say. I don't like your challenging my authority. We're trying to do it in a proper way. I'm even doing I'm doing it in a fucking video. Like, I'm not telling people to go out and be violent and create like, oh, we need a revolution. I'm trying to be articulate and honest, objective, and explain. And yet I don't see a massive amount of growth. But I mean, that could probably be, I mean, because of this surveillance thing. Obviously, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and anyone that listens to my video know that I never bring up anything that has to do with conspiracy theory bullshit. Even though a lot of that shit is probably true, I don't even want to delve into it. But do I think that there's a potential, or it's possible that the reason why my videos or my Facebook page gets a whole lot less views than someone posting a picture of their dinner? The reason why my reach is so much smaller than the stupid, mindless bullshit that happens all the time that's trending. Of course, I suspect it probably has something to do with some form of intervention of some kind by some central planner or, you know, corporate fucking exec that likes to cozy up the government. I don't know. I can't even pretend to know that. And which is why, that's the thing, I guess, when people listen to people like me, is like, well, I don't want to listen to him because he can't give me the 100% conclusive answer, whereas a politician will look you straight in the eyes and say, yeah, it's this. But they'll lie to you. At least I'm not lying to you. I suppose you can misconstrue my uncertainty for ignorance, or that I'm somewhat lesser in my intellectual capacity or knowledge than some politician, but in reality, that's not the case. People like myself, I just don't want to ever tell people something that I can't prove conclusively, because I'm not a liar. I'm not deceptive in that way. I prefer honesty. I hold myself to much, much, much higher standards than any politician ever would. Let's get into this article. This is from the Financial Post, the tech desk. Businesses cooperate with government mass surveillance at their perils, says Edward Snowden. And so true. So true. And as time goes by and people have had time to digest this fully, yeah, these companies, like I say, it's going to happen eventually. It's just that everything happens so quick now in real time that people, and they get used to certain things, so they don't want to, you know, rock the boat. But eventually, over time, once people have had time to reflect on this, yes. And we're seeing it happen time and time again. Toronto. Resisting government mass surveillance isn't just the right thing to do. It's good for business, whistleblower Edward Snowden told a Toronto cybersecurity conference Tuesday. Speaking via video link to the annual Canadian industry event Sector, Snowden brought up the recent revelations that Yahoo Inc. had agreed to scan customers' emails for U.S. intelligence. I mean, just... Anyways, Yahoo also recently disclosed its email accounts were hacked in 2014, and Verizon Communications Inc. has since announced it is attempting to renegotiate its $4.8 billion agreement to buy the company. So yeah, now they're trying to back out because they realize that. I mean, I would never use, knowing this revelation that's come to light. I mean, even before that, I won't, and I don't use any of the main. I mean, Facebook I use, and YouTube I use. Even Twitter, but to a lesser degree. I don't use it as much of a platform to spread my message, very minimally, to be honest with you. But any other company or tech outfit out there that I've even heard the slightest revelation that they're cooperating with government. And yeah, if I don't have to, and even Facebook and YouTube. But these guys are actually trying to fight it. And I hear stuff from Zuckerberg, and I'll actually maybe do a video regarding his defense of Peter Thiel's $1.25 or $1.5 million donation to Trump. And I hear some bad stuff about Zuckerberg and stuff. And I don't think he's the greatest guy. I don't think he's the best proponent of liberty. But I don't know, I have this suspicion, and even based on my own stuff, is they're all about money and paying for, content and to promote your page. I think Zuckerberg's just more pure capitalist with minimal compassion or, you know, ability to remain completely and wholly objective. I'm sure he has his own personal political leanings, but he seems to at least be willing publicly, I can't say for sure privately, but publicly, and even from what I have seen personally, be willing to allow people to at least talk about liberty, right? And those that he employ. Now, there are people that probably do try to circumvent that. But once again, okay, forget into that. Yeah, I don't want to get into that thing because once again, it's pure speculation. I can't deal with speculating on shit. I can give an opinion, but once again, it's just a subjective opinion that really take it for what it is, right? If you collaborate with the government in this regard, far beyond what the law requires, because that's what they're doing. They're far. I mean, there's rules and precedents set in like the constitutions or Bill of Rights in all these countries that they don't have to. If they want to challenge the government trying to use them as an instrument for surveillance, they have all the tools, and I mean, they're wealthy companies, so they have the wealth at their disposal to challenge these things. So the fact that they're not and they're willing to go along and get along, yeah, that's damaging as well. It can actually have a significant, substantial consequence for your valuation, Snowden said. Yahoo, which is very powerful, very rich organization, cooperated beyond what was legally required, and it damaged its brand. I mean, look at Yahoo now. I mean, like Twitter, another perfect one. They choose political bias, whether not even regarding just necessarily surveillance or government surveillance or cooperation with government, but the fact that Twitter seems to be more than willing to silence or squash the voices of conservative or libertarians, right, is it's now up for sale. Nobody wants to even buy it. So yeah, it doesn't work. If you completely misrepresent your platform and you go against freedom of speech or try to alienate large or substantial portions of any population, yeah, it's not going to work out good for you. In 2013, the former government contractor leaked classified documents from the U.S. National Security Agency to journalists. The documents revealed the NSA and the so-called Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance, a group of countries including Canada and the U.S., let me give you the other three, New Zealand, Australia, and the UK, cooperated to monitor global private communications. So they cooperated to monitor global private communications. So they're monitoring the private communications. So whether it's emails, texts, or stuff, just like with your mail, when you send something, that's supposed to be private. They're supposed to respect your privacy. But once again, we're seeing they don't respect your privacy at all. They don't give a shit. They completely undermine and circumvent natural or common laws completely to their own, what I hope is demise and destruction of their own entity, of their own organizations. Snowden's revelations caused global controversy. Some consider him a traitor who put national security at risk. Well, those are people that are part of the system. While others consider him a hero for disclosing a previously secret program and allowing the public to debate its merits. Those are people that actually care about freedoms, regular folks. The Snowden leak also revealed government agencies implementing surveillance programs often demand businesses help them. Some businesses, such as Yahoo, agree, while others put up a fight. So there's the great divide. And those that put up a fight or refuse, like Ladar Levison, that used to be the owner and CEO of LavaBit, I have mad respect for the guy. We're friends on Facebook. I pay attention to what a lot of ways get to say. And yeah, I have mad respect for people like that said, yeah, even though I was making a lot of money with this business, I'm willing to shut it down and cause my own self some personal financial hardships, but at least I'm protecting my clients and my customers' privacy. I mean, how, like I say, those are the people I respect. Those are the people I admire. Those are the people that if he creates another business, I'll support Ladar in any venture he tackles, because I know he cares about his customers and people. He doesn't want to sell his soul up the river or to become part of the system of oppression, part of this mass surveillance fucking outfit that we now live under today. Snowden cited an open whisper system, which makes the encrypted messaging app Signal as an example of an organization that benefited from pushing back against a government request for cooperation in a surveillance program. With the help of the American Civil Liberties Union, Open Whisper Systems fought a gag order on a subpoena for information associated with 2 phone numbers. Ultimately, Open Whisper Systems had to comply with the subpoena, but the damage was mitigated because of another Snowden approved policy, only retaining as much personal data as absolutely necessary. The subpoena asked for browsing history and tracking data stored in web browsers, but Signal doesn't collect that information. So once again, if you create a business, yes, do not make it as so that you have to track and maintain or retain all the information that people present. Like Apple, they don't have the ability. They said, hey, listen, we can't do what you want because we have given our customers ultimate power over their device. Just like with anyone else, give the customer the power over their own data, and then you don't have to worry about if government comes to you later on and asks you for it or tries to force you to give it to them. Well, you'll be like, well, but I don't have it. That's ultimately what it really comes down to. Now, there's a few more paragraphs left in this article, but you're getting the point of what it's in regards to. And thank goodness for people like Edward Snowden or Julian Assange or Bradley or Manning or whatever his other name that he uses. Anyways, sorry, I can't think of it right this particular time. Weird, I'm getting a little bit of a brain fart here. But either way, Chelsea, sorry for that, Chelsea Manning. But either way, these are people that took great risks and have suffered and are still suffering in their own lives for helping to better educate and inform the people regarding what governments really do, the inherent immorally and unjust system that we all have to currently live under, right? Thank goodness there are people at least out there trying to better explain to us what these entities are doing and help us to do our best to refrain, or helping us to do our best to prevent them from doing so. We got to do our best to create liberty and freedom. We can't rely on everyone else to do it for us. We have to, every single one of us have to take that task, make that mission our primary goal, because freedom matters. Freedom matters more than what most people could ever understand until it's completely taken away from them. That's when they understand how important freedom is. In the interim, people can skirt both sides of that fence, right? But once you lose your freedoms, it's not just a matter of, that's the thing that people don't understand. Once the freedoms are gone, you got to start questioning and asking, how do you think you ever gain them back? Think about it. Has there ever been any time in history, any precedent that's been set where central planners decided to give people their freedom after they've been continually trying to take them away? I don't know of any. If you can find any, post in your comment in this video, and I'll try to read and understand what you're saying. But like I say, I don't know of any examples of that. So freedom is something that you have to fight to maintain it, because once it's gone, most of the time it's gone until something really dramatic or perilous happens, like a full-on revolution or a civil war or massive strife and conflict. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.